And here we are.
Here we are. So I was in the Los Angeles greater area, and I did not go to Disneyland. It's just it's too much money to spend on a 2.5-year-old. So like it's too much money to spend when I know I'm gonna have a bad time. Next year, up for grabs. Next year, it's I'm gonna spend a ton of money. I'm gonna spend a ton of money. And it's going to be a grab bag. It's going to be, we could have a great day or we could have a terrible day. But it's almost like, if I ever told you like why I don't snowboard and why I ski, it's not that I don't want to snowboard. It's just if I ski, I'm guaranteed a great day. But if I snowboard, I'm going to be on my ass half the time.
If you ski, you're elitist. If you snowboard, you
exactly.
are
I'm like a villain from an 80s movie if I ski, because it's like what the rich kids do in the you're skateboarding the hill if you're a snowboarder.
Yeah, the snowboarders really won the PR battle.
I don't know. I feel like skiing's coming back.
That's because everyone realizes that it's much more practical though. Like it's
not much more practical. I honestly, my theory is, and this is going all over the place. My theory is it's more natural to start snowboarding. I think if you start skiing, you're screwed. You can't switch. But if you start snowboarding, you could easily ski.
Probably. I snowboard personally, and I just think it looks
you're a contrarian. Cooler. I'm an elitist, and you're a contrarian. So
that's 100%, Nick.
Yeah,
and that will definitely present itself for today's topic later, which I don't know if we want to reveal it quite yet, but I think it's going to come through.
We'll get
how
there.
Punk I am. I'm punk Star Wars. You are elitist Star Wars.
That tracks.
Been true.
That tracks.
Yeah.
But to get back to Disneyland, I think it's just I'm not ready to take the plunge because those things are fucking $200 now a ticket or whatever it is. Granted, we were staying with friends, so lodging was free and all that kind of stuff. So it would have just been the commute there. And it was, whatever. Everything in LA is an hour away from you, right? Whether or not it's from traffic or from distance. And just wasn't willing to do it this time. And I was really disappointed to be that close to it and not go. But, I'm sorry. At this point, Disney is still for me. I want to go for me. I'm not ready to completely subvert myself for a kid until I know he can like it. If I can vicariously feel the joy of him experiencing Disneyland, sign me up. We'll spend all the monies. But
what has he done to deserve such a nice trip that you're?
He doesn't even know
all this.
Any of the Star Wars characters. All he likes is cars. He likes cars. As we've gone, the loose cannon extended universe about the cars cosmology. That's very troubling. That's all he likes. But he likes the old stuff too. He's an old head. So it's gonna blow his mind someday, though.
Your kids are going to love it.
Your kids are going to love it. Johnny be good.
Yeah. I haven't been to Disney World since I was a child. And I remember a Disney adult. Being terrified.
Do you think it's cringy being a Disney adult?
Yeah. 100%. It is.
Fuck
I
you.
just don't like...
Contrarian.
I don't think you're like a Disney adult, though, in the way that people think about that.
Well, I mean, I guess Disney adult can mean many things. Does that mean that you just like being there without children? Or does that mean that's like a part of your personality? Like, it's not a part of my personality that I like Disney World. But like...
Okay, that's a good clarification.
There's one year I went to a Disney park, I think 3 times in 18 months. And I think that's kind of a lot for an adult.
It's kind of a lot. I think, to me... there's just that level of creepiness that is associated with the Disney adult, which I don't think just going there and having fun as an adult, I don't really think that's weird. I think it's weird when you're just like, when you're like a little bit too attached to some of these old timey characters.
Or when it's just your entire personality, I guess is what you're probably getting at, right?
Yeah. I do think that's a little weird. Because if someone's like, hey, I've never been to Disneyland or Disney World, and you go as an adult, is that I don't know if that makes you a Disney adult. I feel like if you have like an attachment to it, like a big attachment to it, like some people have.
I think
there's extremes. Like some people want to live there. Like they want to stay, like they want to have experiences with very strange cartoon characters that I just.
Which RIP to Galaxy's Edge Hotel that was not popular enough and closed. It turns out people want windows in their room.
there's just some like practical
Yeah.
real life things that people want, even if they're in
You would have
at
thought
the
it would have been a slam
galaxy's
dunk. Of
edge.
course, people would want to stay in a Star Wars hotel, but it was not.
How many days in a row can you drink blue milk?
Only so many days. But I think it's part and parcel. I think your thinking of your critical thinking of Disney adult is kind of this state of arrested development of, I guess, media in general, in which like anything, especially Disney media, Disney Plus media, or Deadpool, Wolverine, like. What is this media for? Is it for kids? I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine was rated R, so it's not supposed to be for kids, or is this for like middle-aged men, And I think they've done a good job of doing both in a lot of aspects, but the Marvel stuff is certainly for middle-aged men, for the most part. And so is Disney for middle-aged
generation
men?
that never grew up.
No. And we want to continue we want to do the kids stuff forever. And Disney, I'd say, is set up to do that for us. I think you'd enjoy going to Galaxy's Edge. I really do. It's a great feeling.
I think I would too. I have nothing against.
Yeah.
I would like to do that stuff. It is pretty expensive, but
yeah, it is. And it's we don't
do
live
it.
anywhere near a Disney park, so we have to fly there first off. And you have to. I have friends in both locations, so I'm lodging would be pretty much free. But yeah, I think. All of this stuff, and this leads me to believe, what happens when we are boomer aged, right? Like, what happens when we're in our retirement age? Does this stuff still age with us, or is there a point
Are
where
you still listening to Fetty Wap? Like, is that happening?
right?
Hey,
like,
kids.
are you putting that on the LP in the nursing home, right? Like putting on the nastiest of
That one slaps, Johnny.
Yeah. I'm a nasty girl. I'm a nasty girl. You know what? Your grandma was a nasty girl. I matched her freak.
Grandpa Brat Summer is over.
Yeah. Uncle Jerry,
You're
Uncle Jerry was
75.
Brat.
You can't be a brat anymore.
No.
I'm sorry. Charlie XCX is 52.
Grandpa Brat Summer was 50 years ago. Get over it.
You remember that, Johnny?
Oh, my kids remember that.
No, that is an odd thing about our generation. For sure, is you can't see a lot of it aging well, like for an old man to be into it.
When does it skip? What is the media for the kids? I guess I'm about to find out with a young child. Like, what's the media for kids? It seems like it's streamers and Mr. Beast. Like, that's the media for kids. Like, and I don't know if you've watched any of that stuff lately, the stuff that's really, really for kids. I mean, it's not for kids, like it's children's content. It's just like you can tell this is the audience is all 12-year-olds, where the jump cuts are so fast, like I get a headache. Like it moves too fast. Have you watched a Mr. Beast video? Like,
I have not, but I've heard of him.
Go check it out. It's edited in a way that you think you've had an aneurysm. But no, that's just how it's edited because TikTok kids, like if you're going to watch a long form video that's not like 90 seconds, like they really got to beat you over the head with an editing hammer to get you to keep watching it. And I guess that is for Gen Z, Gen Alpha. That is content, not Disney Plus. Disney Plus is for us. Literally, it's for like basically anyone, I guess, 25 and up, right? It's
you know
like
what he
adults.
is? He's like Gen Z's Oprah.
Who is?
Mr. Beast.
Oh, Mr. Beast. Okay.
Because isn't he always trying to do like something nice?
Well, that tracks because he has a boatload of money and he is giving it away all the time, but he's doing it in like weird draconian ways. Like, you have to spend 100 nights in a glass cage before I give this to you, like,
okay.
Just
like Oprah.
Yeah, right. Like will give you the money, and he does charity stuff, and apparently he's a really good guy. So I'm not trying to disparage Mr. Beast, but like he's unwatchable. His stuff is
he could crush us, Nick. We have to be careful.
Absolutely. I mean, the Swifties and the Beasties would come after us for sure.
Let's tread lightly in the Mr. Beast.
Mm-hmm, the Mr. Beast of first. So okay, I guess I answered my own question. Like, what is actually for the kids? And it's TikTok. I've watched my nephew's brain seep out of his ears scrolling through TikTok before. Because, a 32-minute Disney Plus original is going to be way too long for Gen Z, Gen Alpha, you know?
I mean, we're already done with albums. Like, that's gone.
I guess for pop music, sure. But
No
also,
one listen, I don't listen. I used to listen to albums all the time. I don't
do
listen to albums anymore.
Oh no, I'm an album guy. That's just me though. That's just how I listen to music. That's how I consume music. But honestly, pop music, rap music in particular, there's no reason that you need to make a rap album. Like, why doesn't Drake just release a new song? I guess he kind of does. But like, just release a new song every couple of weeks, right? He kind of does that, especially with like the rap beef and all that kind of stuff. You might as well just make it like a podcast almost, right? But like a semi-monetized free podcast. Because if you make an album, then most of the stuff is just crap filler. Just like do the banger, but every 3 weeks, you know?
At this point, their album is going to be like, they're going to have the interludes in between songs just be a podcast.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
I think we're
welcome
onto
to
something
episode
here.
like 67.
This is episode 56 of Drake Singles. Up next. No, I think there are plenty of bands that are making good album music. I mean, even Charlie XCX.
I'm sure there
like,
are. They just don't.
Even
that's not
Brat
how
Summer
I
is
consume
an
it.
album, right? Like, and I'm not. I know. I just like deep cuts. You know.
I like it too, and that used to be my thing until Pitchfork and review websites became obsolete, and then
Whoa.
What? Music criticism is completely obsolete.
I mean, in the formal sense, yeah, that's just because Pitchfork sucks. That's not because the medium is obsolete. I mean, look at Anthony Fantano is as big as he ever is.
I'm happy if someone like wants to show me a good music website. I would be happy to
The Needle Drop,
like
YouTube,
go to it.
Anthony
Okay.
Fantano. I still like it. He,
But like it also like the algorithmic curation has just made it a lot easier to find music.
I guess. Maybe,
Thanks,
you know,
AI.
I still listen to things like I have a book of CDs in my car, like I was 16 years old. I still listen to things where it's like I have the 10 CDs that I like right now, and then I will swap one, and then I'll run them all into the ground until I'm sick of them. That's just how I listen to music. And then
that's the way it is. It should be like that, Nick.
that's
wish
why
I still like that.
is really like that is a 2000s
Pretty old
way
school.
to listen to music. That is, I just put a CD deck into my car that shouldn't have a CD deck, and I have the Logitech like faux leather CD case that holds 100 CDs, and I got my like top 10 that I'm like listening to all the time, or really it's like the top 3, and I wear them out and I listen to them nonstop all summer, and then I never listen to them again because I'm sick of it. Or I revisit in 3 years. I'm like, this is still good.
Those are the good old days, and that's even before having an MP3 player when you had to manually load new songs onto it, and you had to agonize over what songs to delete. I don't. Do I delete this album to make room for this one? Like,
back when, man, I've been listening to a lot of like tier lists for iPods. Well, not a lot. I listened to one that was like Apple nerds doing a tier list for iPods, and man, there is some iPods that I just have fond memories of, but now like when you hear somebody describe them, they just sucked so bad. Like, oh yeah, you could hold like 3 gigs of music. Like, you know how few songs that is?
and I as a high schooler wanted to have videos too.
Oh, of course you needed to load that onto the iPod video, the YouTube.
Yeah,
black
I needed to have a few
iPod
episodes of
video.
South Park on there, but that felt pretty awesome to have South Park in your pocket.
That was just a flex. You just did it because you could.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, we've gone all over the place with this one.
This is a winding topic for today. But okay, one last thing on the the theme parks.
Is it
Disney
so? Can we
World?
sum up this off topic as kids these days? Is that
Kids
like what
these
this
days.
is called?
I don't even know, man. But I just was. This is something that I, as an Illinoisan, I wasn't aware of. If you live in California, you do just go to Disney World or Disneyland every now and then. Just like, this
sure.
weekend last weekend we went to Disneyland.
Anaheim is not that bad of a drive. That's why they do it. You know, like
Yeah.
if you're trying to get from let's say the South Bay to Pasadena, no can do. I'm not going to do that. Or, you know, you're going from West Hollywood to the Valley, you know, no, fuck no. The traffic on the 405 is really bad. Hey, I sound like I should live there. But like Anaheim is actually never that hard to get to.
No.
All the LA people are going to be screaming right now. It's like, are you kidding me? Try going there at 4:05 p.m. on a Thursday. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't want to be driving around that time.
No.
Okay, so now that we've covered the gambit, Nick, let's get back to Star Wars.
Back to Star Wars. Covered the gambit like this is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh,
Have you seen
I
it
bet
yet?
that I have not seen it.
I just
have
spoiled
not seen
something for you.
Let's
Sorry.
get back to Marvel.
Okay, back to Marvel, back to Star Wars. Okay, so what are we talking about today, Chris?
So I saw this TikTok, and I'll maybe
And your
put
brain melted.
And it was like it was a great idea. This person was like, here's my favorite sounds of Star Wars. So I was like, I want to do this. So basically for this episode, Nick and I both came up with our own top 5 sounds. I only gave him I basically told him come up with your top 5 sounds, and they have to be like with 10 seconds long. And those were the only criteria that I gave you. Like less 10
Is it
seconds
minimum
or less.
10 I was going to say. I was going to say I have a lot that are like 2 seconds, or you get the
That's
gist
good.
of it. You get the gist of it in the first second. So
That's good. So yeah, 10 seconds or less. Now, what ground rules did you give yourself other than that?
So there's a couple rules. I'm going to present these not in any particular order. They're not in
Not from like worst to best?
No. I do have my least favorite sound that we're going to get to, but I got to figure out where to put that in. Like when
I have some honorable mentions as well.
When we're
We'll
feeling
see
a
if we
little
have time.
loosey-goose, I'm going to show, I was like, hey, I'm going to show you my worst sound. The one I hate the most from Star Wars, and you can guess which era of Star Wars it's in. One rule was, okay, again, not in particular, this is an entertainment value order. I'm going from, we're building up on interest over this episode. 2, another rule is I don't want it to be organic. I don't want it to come from a creature. It's not a sound from a creature. It's completely mechanical.
Okay.
There's one that sort of breaks the rules with that, but I got off on a technicality here. 2 is I didn't want to go for obvious picks. So, you know, we should kind of be making a tier list, I would say, like almost like dragging them in, but this would be hard to do without a YouTube page, right? And also a tier list is hard to do for sounds. Like how would I represent what a sound is? Like on a tier list. Anyway,
yeah. So
essentially anything that I think is an S tier, I'm not including because they're too obvious. Because to me, like an S tier is like lightsaber, TIE fighter. Like we've all heard those things. Those are not going to be on my list.
Okay, I was tempted to do that as well, but I also was like, if someone's seeing like top 5 Star Wars sounds and we don't include some of these, then I feel like that would just be wrong. So
your rules are 5. You're going to go from 5 to 1.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see. Hey, you know what? We might have similar picks, even though I threw out all my S tiers. And 2, this is not really a rule, but I wanted to entertain you personally. Okay. So it's like, yeah, I want to entertain the listener. But my picks are for you to go, oh, that's cool. Oh, cool. That's what I think. It's like, what would make Chris say, oh, that's cool?
Okay. Well, wait, so this is a list that I should love.
Yeah, this should be exciting. Maybe you would be like, I love all of these, and these are my top 5.
This should be entitled the top 5 sounds for Chris in Star Wars.
Well, you could just call it top Star Wars sounds, you know? Like these are my top, but I'm not putting a number value to them. And again, I'm getting rid of the ones that are obviously great. Like you won't hear blasters from me. You won't hear TIE fighters from me. You're not going to hear lightsabers. I don't know. I don't want to go into any more.
You're not hearing blasters on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm not blasting anything. So yeah, and there's one that I'm going to play you 3 different times because there are 3 variations of the same cool sound.
Well, the good thing about this selection is that it is good for podcast listening
Yep.
because it's based on the sound.
It's
So
the
there you
sound.
go, focusing
Great.
on our core listenership,
Our core competency, if you will.
our core competency of sound, and listening to our voices, listening to amazing Star Wars sounds. What is Star Wars without the sound? That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
And honestly, guys, what would be life without some kind of without taking care of yourself, without like good self-care, like having vitamins and nutrients in your day. I've been taking this. Nick and I have both. Really, a few months, I guess by now, a couple of weeks by now. We've been taking the supplement. It's a mental performance shot called Magic Mind. And I honestly, the reason, I don't know, Nick, you and we both have similar habits, I feel.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing that we both are going to agree on is that we need caffeine and we need like a little energy boost throughout our day.
I had a little crisis with my Magic Mind, Chris. Shout out our friends. I had some good friends that visited us a couple weeks ago, and then we visited them. And he opened my fridge and goes, "Oh, you're on that Magic Mind too?" I was like, I can't believe more people than just me and Chris know about Magic Mind. Good job, Magic Mind crew. Good job getting the word out.
It's a worldwide movement.
It's a worldwide phenomenon. And so I was really worried about, okay, if when I travel to LA to visit these friends, I'm not going to have my Magic Mind. No. Lawson, he knew about the Magic Mind. So I bumped some Magic Mind off of him because you know what? He had some off of me. It's like, hey, I don't want you to ruin your streak of, delicious flavor coupled with all of the nutrients that keep you going in the day. And so he took a little off me. I took a little off him, and it worked out. So keep in mind, use our promo code to make, you're traveling, you're going to visit friends, make your friends buy Magic Mind so you can have it there.
And to get our discount, go to magicmind.com/Star Wars and use the promo code Star Wars 20 at checkout to get up to 48% off your first subscription or 20% off a one-time purchase.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So, would you like to start with your first selection?
Okay. First selection, and again, in order of interest, like what makes things interesting. It is drum. Here, I'm gonna share my screen with you so you can see it. It is drum roll, please. The Imperial Klaxon. Do you know what a klaxon is?
No.
Okay, this is what a klaxon is.
Sounds like it's from Star Trek.
Yeah. Classic. One of my favorite sounds ever. Are you immediately thinking Star Wars is happening, right? There's something is going on. Seriously. I mean, one of the best sounds ever.
It is really it's a weird sound. It sort of sounds like a brass instrument.
It does kind of it sounds almost like a trombone going, but it's clearly very, what's the word I'm looking for? It is earthly in a way, because this is an alert, right? It is not alien. It is very human and earthly, but also made in a way that does also sound unhuman too at the same time.
It does sound imperial as well.
It does sound very imperial, which is, hey, very human, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, this is the one I have three variations though.
Oh, okay. So you have more variations.
So I have no variations. This sound
okay.
is so cool and so iconic that they used it in the Rogue One trailer itself. And this is a timestamp. So go ahead, open it at the timestamp. It should go right there. Nothing better than a trailer with some alarm and people running.
Does that get the picture through?
Yes. Okay. One more this is the only time I'm doing this to you, Chris, but one more variation. So, of course, much of the sequel trilogy is just a take on the original trilogy, just with a little extra sauce on it, right? But I will say they did a really good thing in The Last Jedi with the Dreadnought, and they made a new klaxon sound that sounds very evocative of the old klaxon for the specifically just when the Dreadnought enters. So you could just play like 5 seconds here.
Okay.
Love it. Love it. Okay, it's done now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a little bassier, right?
Okay.
It's a little bassier.
That's a very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's. I almost didn't even like it didn't click, but with me.
So yeah, those my 3 variations of the klaxon. This was like when you gave me the assignment. Like, yeah, that's my sound right there.
Okay.
All mechanical, not organic. It's not music. Oh yeah, that was another rule. As I wasn't going to give myself any music. So, other than the fact that you said it sounds like a trombone. So.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think it. I like the first 2. The first one was like a trombone.
Yeah.
Like the first one was like barbecue sauce, and the next one was like sriracha.
Yeah.
And this one, like you said, a little bit of spice to it. And
Yeah.
This last one was. Like,
It's very
all right.
sequel,
We're just generic sci-fi now.
You know
guys.
what you're hearing, but it's got a little extra like 2010 sauce on it.
The first 2 were inspired, I think, more by something real, and this one was just like, all right, generic, sort of like generic alarm sound.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a good choice. It's unique. I wouldn't have expected it, but this is definitely a sound that we've all heard many times, and has a very, has a very clear meaning to it. As a very like clearly we know what it represents. So I think it's a decent.
Stand
choice.
at attention. Time to fight.
Yeah, you're about to die.
Someone's dying. Someone is dying.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna. All right. Now, I'll do my number 5, and this one, Nick, is not going to meet some of your rules, okay?
Yeah,
so
they're my rules. They're not your rules.
Yeah, my rules were just like anything that's like a sound, but mostly if it was a creature, I included it.
Okay,
like,
sure.
Not like someone talking or anything like that, but if it was like a creature, because I feel like that's still mostly a sound that someone created. Like it's a sound effect, really. So, okay. So with that in mind, and I'm already kind of hinting at what my first one is, and I don't think I'm going to show you the video. Maybe I will. Maybe you'll see it probably because I'll be sharing my screen.
Yeah.
But
I can look away.
Okay.
Classic. Okay. Yeah, definitely. I'll call this an A tier sound.
Yeah.
So this is not. So if this were me picking it, I would not have thrown it out because I don't think it's an S tier sound, but I definitely think it's an A tier sound. It's almost like you're saying bobbit bobbit, like Lorena Bobbitt.
It seems like there's like a real intent to communicate something here, not like a dog. Well, a dog is just like bark bark, ruff ruff,
bark bark.
This guy's like. He's just like he's trying to say something, and it might just be like he's like, bro, there's some scary shit about to happen.
Yeah, I'm not gonna die, right?
Yeah, like, are we good?
We're good out here.
Are we good?
We good?
Are we good? I'm not comfortable with what we're doing right now. And I think what I like about this is that it keeps Star Wars weird in that weird, like puppet animatronic realm.
Yes.
And practical effects space where we like our Star Wars. It just like kind of reminds you of that.
Yeah. 100%. I back you on that one. I could see that as being your number 5. I think that's firmly in place as your number 5.
Thank you. I feel like it had to be on my list just to kind of make it a little unique.
Yeah.
Maybe not 100%. Not everyone would expect it to be on someone's list, but
A tier sound.
It's a weird sound.
A tier sound.
Okay, I'll keep sharing my screen so that you can send me your next.
Okay, I broke my rule with this one a little bit because I said no organic sounds, but this, you're going to see why it breaks my rule, but it's still acceptable.
The Techno Union Army is at your disposal, Cal.
That's
I
it.
mean, that's
I
That's
love
brilliant.
that sound so much. Like I remember seeing it for the first time. Like what the hell? And obviously, like it's meant to show you that his suit doesn't work that well. Which, by the way, they have to wear that suit because their face will explode in atmosphere or something. And his head is shaped like a tooth, which I always thought was funny.
Oh wow, you're
Yeah,
right.
they
I
need
never
like
looked that closely
they need
at
like a
it.
pressure. Like they don't need full pressure over their skull, but they need it on their eyes and mouth. And so they have like a vocoder on the front, and clearly his was all fucked up. But it's just like the Techno Union, and then he has to like switch some knobs. So like technically it's not organic, but it comes from an organic source, and I don't know. It's one of my favorite parts of Attack of the Clones.
I like it because it sounds like he's trying to curse, and this is in their censoring.
Motherfucker. At your disposal.
The Techno Union is motherfucking screwing shit up.
Yeah. Wat Tambor.
Good character.
Good guy.
We needed more of Wat Tambor.
He's in the Clone Wars, I think, a good amount.
He is. He's got a little bit in there. It's a
He
shame this is all we got.
does not die in Attack of the Clones, right? He for sure. Okay,
No,
yeah, he
I don't
dies.
think so.
Remember, Anakin kills him because they go. Anakin shows up to, and they all think that Anakin's there to help, but he's like, I'm here to get rid of all the Separatists because it's Empire time, baby.
Oh, look, it's Sidious's new apprentice. How exciting!
Oh, thank God! He's finally here to help us.
Oh God, what a weight off my shoulders. What are you doing there, bud?
Sorry,
Oh,
sorry, Watt. No longer useful.
this guy's got some fire in him.
Yep.
And then he did have some fire in him, if you know what I mean.
Yep. He fire
I got
on him.
jokes.
Fire on
I got
him.
some jokes.
Okay.
Okay, now I'll share this for my next trick.
I'm gonna look away
Okay.
from the screen.
This is more generic. This is more playing the hits.
No, this is not playing the hit. I think this is unexpected, but it's also good. It's just general Millennium Falcon engine noise.
It's just so good.
Okay, it's S tier. That is for sure S tier. So I would have thrown it out, but I still think it's not obvious, right?
It's just like it's part of a category that's
Yes.
pretty big, right?
Like engine noise.
Yeah, engine noise, but like the way the different, like think about all the different sounds that were in there. Like there were multiple different engine sounds that
Yep.
all make sense to your ear, to your brain.
Kind of organic
But
in a
they're-
way. Like they put like lion roars in the TIE fighters. So I wonder what they
Right.
put in the Millennium Falcon.
I want to hear this one more time just
Yeah, do it
because
again.
I just love it. Okay, and it's like how a jet sounds when it's
Mm-hmm.
flying towards you, and which is really funny because today the Blue Angels were flying over Chicago, and so I was hearing like that.
The Millennium Falcon's
it's like-
here.
and it's like, you ever think about like, okay, what? Because there's how sound approaches you is different than how it sounds when it's
Doppler
traveling
effect.
away. Yeah, so I kind of was like, oh, pay attention to the jet right as soon as you hear it, because like it's just fun to hear the difference between approach and when it's leaving. But they do the same thing here. But yeah, that's kind of like your what do you call it? Like that's your meat and potatoes Star Wars type of sound.
Yeah, I mean that's Star Wars and tights.
Okay, Nick.
Okay, my next entry.
Is this number 3 now?
This is number 3 for me. So we've got
Okay.
So we had original trilogy. Technically, the Imperial Klaxon is original trilogy, even though I did Rogue One and sequel. And then we got prequel with Wat Tambor. We're back to original trilogy. I'm gonna drop in chat.
Okay.
I'm a child again with that when I hear this sound. good. Oh, here we go.
Just one more time.
This might be our good. Because we're just like, it goes vroom and it goes.
I think the last few episodes we had to work our brain a little bit, and I'm taking a break.
We're
This is
cooking.
just like
We're cooking here. It goes boom
Also-
and zoom. It's kind of great that
And
you had engine noise right before me here.
yeah. That's a top engine sound for sure.
Yeah.
How the anything that is like a repulsor or like a speeder has like its own unique sound. Like for some reason, the way that it, the technology it uses just to float off the ground as opposed to like fly through any space, it just requires a different sound.
Yeah.
Ring. Okay. All right. Next sound for me. I'm kind of doing this on the fly because I kind of changed some of mine, but I think this one will be unexpected.
Okay.
But for some reason, without me really trying to come up with something unique, it was in my head, and I'm just like, why is this sound just so persistent in my brain?
That's the last one I'm going to show you is in my head constantly.
Okay, and yeah, I'm curious what you'll think about this.
Okay. And you're talking about that high pitched squelch, right?
Yeah, it's kind of the full. Yeah, that's
one.
like the flourish at the end though, Nick. Because like the part that I remember, that's part of it. But the part that I think really sticks is like the woo, like that part. Yeah, that, which is, yeah, it's very eclectic.
Yeah. S tier sound.
You think that's S tier?
Yeah, that's S tier.
That's so Star Wars. You just like you talked about that mechanical type of sound, machinery working. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's awesome.
S tier sound.
Empire has so many. I feel like
Empire
could've
has
just
all
done
the
this one.
S tier sounds. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, great. Of course, of my favorite.
You're gonna
Star Wars,
start noticing a pattern now.
Okay.
Okay. So again, let's see. I'm going to send this to you at a timestamp, and you can just kind of let
Perfect.
it. You can let it cook for 10 seconds or so. Let's see. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
Start your engines.
Just every pod racer starting up. Every pod racer.
Did you say to pause it?
No, I just said every pod racer starting up. It's
Yes.
I'm a little Phantom Menace pilled since watching it in the theaters for the 25-year anniversary.
And I love that for you.
And it is, I don't know. I gotta say, like now that we're far enough away from the prequel, the pod racing scene goes a little long, but it earns it.
Yeah.
It earns it, and it might be one of the best sequences in any Star Wars movie. I think
it's always
as a
it's
scene,
justifying itself
as a scene, as a whatever film term. It is in the conversation for S tier scenes in Star Wars. And I just think like it really, there's nothing else like it. Like the fact that George put that in is just such a crazy ass idea. He's a real crazy ass white boy for that. You're crazy for this one, George. And just like the sounds make it. Like the sounds, like hearing it in the theater too, of all that startup, like I got excited. I'm like, dude, some Star Wars is about to happen. Like I remember I watched this a little high with my friends in the theater, and I remember like kind of getting giggly at the beginning of of the Phantom Menace because there's some really shitty parts at the beginning. Like some of the funnier laugh out loud parts with like how bad the dialogue is happens at the beginning. But as soon as this scene comes on, you're like, oh fuck, this movie rocks. Never mind. Never mind. This
it's
movie
a little
rocks.
bit of an awkward movie at the start.
It is a weird movie to start, and then as soon as we get the pod race, you're like, okay, we're good. This movie rocks. Never mind.
And this is the first cool thing that we see Anakin do, right?
Oh yeah. First cool thing. It's like first
that we
thing
see
like,
him
this
do.
kid's
We
special.
heard about how awesome he was.
Mm-hmm.
We heard people talk about how great he was, but this is like, hey, yeah, he actually races these things himself, even though like no other human being can do it. Top scene for sure. And
yeah,
there's so many good like character like. There's a lot of good design alien characters as well of all the other drivers, and all of the pods are very different.
they're all
and
unique.
strange.
Again, not only were they cooking for the what's the word I'm looking for, the concept of this these people race in the desert, but like the sound design team is going on all cylinders. Like they must have had so many all cylinders, get it? They must have had so many sleepless nights of George saying, no, again, no, again, no. Okay, it's okay, I guess.
Probably took weeks, months just to edit this. Yeah, and one final thing I'll say from rewatching it, because this was also one of mine. But I specifically picked the moment where Anakin's engine starts. Here, I'll just play
Is this the right order? Are you on your number 3 now?
This was going to be number 2.
Okay.
Or I think it was originally going to be my number 2, but I kind of I've just been ad-libbing based in the moment. Because I was going to pick a top 5 and then have a bunch of honorable mentions, but then the honorable mentions creeped in. But this was what I picked, and I think this was going to be my like 2 or 3. So I think it's still sharing, yeah.
Oh no.
Let's see. Here we go. That was mine right here. So just like the engine starting up in that first go, just a what? Like, yeah.
And that was your number 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was like I have to have this.
I want a palate cleanse, and then we're gonna get to your number 3.
Okay.
And by palate cleanse, I mean I'm gonna make your palate taste like shit. This is my least favorite. Hold on.
Oh no.
My least favorite sound. Again, I'm very pattern based here. That sound. not the blah, 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 blah. That one's fine. That sound.
That sound.
And I'll tell you, and I couldn't find the scene exactly, but there was some, when I remember maybe the first 20 viewings of this movie, I thought that they were using guitar, and that like John Williams was doing like a whammy bar, like Wee! But like when I listened closer, like, oh wait, that's what the sound the speeder makes. Like, why does it make that stupid ass sound?
Oh, okay.
So like I remember when I was a kid, I just thought that was a part of the score. Like they were just like taking some liberties with a whammy bar, but it's their freaking speeder.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
I
hate it.
I would never have considered that, but you don't like it as a sound effect, obviously.
Ruined it. I always thought it was a guitar. I always thought it was a weird choice, even when I found out it was their speeder. But it like also makes regular speeder noises and that whistle. Why? It's annoying. It's annoying.
It is pretty annoying. Like I don't like don't love rewatching that scene.
No,
I
don't.
Bring more tension to it. Like, but if you feel uncomfortable watching it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
the pod racing was my number 2. So now we'll do my number 1.
Oh no, you didn't do your number 3, I don't think, right?
Oh, I thought I did.
So your number 5 was a Tauntaun.
Oh, okay. No. Yeah, we were right. We didn't do my number 3.
Your
okay.
4 was the Millennium Falcon, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, you did do your number. Your number 3 was the Carbonite freezer.
Yes. Okay.
So
cool. Yeah,
so you went.
So now we're
So you're at your number 1. Okay, got it.
okay. Let's do it. And now I'm glad. The one that I end up skipping, Nick. I'm glad. And maybe if we have, I can tell you which one I skipped.
Okay.
We'll play this first.
Okay.
Because I know I know that you're thinking like, God, which one?
What's this gonna
one's
be?
really
What is this
out?
gonna be? What are you
The
gonna
whole
be?
audience is wondering.
The whole audience.
Okay, but this is my number 1, undisputed.
I'm not gonna look.
All right.
All right, stand by.
Okay. This is.
It's a little bit,
It's
Go
not
ahead, go ahead.
okay.
Say
You know
what you're
what?
gonna say.
It is not an S tier sound, so I wouldn't throw it out. But it is. It is
Okay.
a great sound. I don't think it's very obvious. Honestly, I don't think any of yours were obvious. I
Really?
thought maybe you were gonna like do a true top 5 and be like, well, number 1's got to be the TIE Fighter, right? Because it's a TIE Fighter. But you almost followed the same rules. You almost followed you threw out the obvious.
Because the TIE
ones.
Fighter is not going to really lead to an interesting conversation.
We're gonna be like,
I mean,
that's
we're-
cool. It's so cool. That's what we're gonna
like,
say.
Yeah.
Like undoubtedly, it is a S tier sound. Blasters,
Oh, yeah,
lightsabers.
of course. Like we're
S-tier
just not
sound.
even going to talk. It's like when
There's
you're
no
talking
discussion.
about like, it's like if you're in fantasy football, if you're listening to a fantasy football podcast and you're like, so here's why Christian McCaffrey's so great this year. It's like, okay, I don't need to know. Like, I
Yeah,
already know he's the
I'm gonna
best.
draft him first if I can. Obviously.
Yeah, like there's no, I don't need any more analysis than that. But yeah, I feel like the going to light speed, that
Yeah.
is,
Honestly,
I mean,
great
that's
pick.
very cool.
Great pick.
Thank you.
So that's your number 1.
That's my number 1. I think that's what helps save episode 6 a little bit.
Okay.
Like the space stuff, the space battles.
Oh
and-
yeah. I think does episode 6, otherwise known as Return of the Jedi, does that have the most space battle in it?
It had a lot compared to, because 5 Empire Strikes Back didn't have any really.
Yeah.
Not like large scale.
I mean, there's a lot of interior shots of Star Destroyers and the Millennium Falcon, but is there space battles? Like, not really.
Yeah,
And of course, the
New Hope has a space
New
battle,
Hope
but
has
it's
the big one
mostly
at the
just
end, you know?
yeah, but just having the entire fleet,
Yeah.
and that's pretty awesome.
Space helps out Return of the Jedi a lot. I'm gonna.
It
I'll
really
concur.
does. And it was just, well, no, I guess they said that Endor was there just to help fill time because George said, you need to have something to cut to.
Yeah, true.
But it was really 3 things, which is that's very Star Warsian, like having 3 different important action sequences that all are dependent and you're just constantly switching.
Yep. I hear you
So
there.
you go. That's my number 1.
All right. So this is still not in any order, but you'll notice the back half, or I guess the back 2/3 of my presentations are just engine sounds. So the one this sound lives rent free in my head. Same clip we just listened to, but it's specifically Sebulba's Pod Racer.
Okay.
Just Sebulba's Pod
Okay.
Racer.
So
this
I
is-
thought you just sent me the same.
I
It is the
did.
same
It is the
video,
same, but
but
it's
this
with a
one
new-
is
it's a
just
new
a
timestamp.
different slot.
Wait for it. That one.
So it's the
It's Sebulba's because it sounds like an engine failing, but also like obviously he's the second best racer out there. So
it sounds like a hot rod.
yeah, there's a lot more I think after. Just let it play a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, really quick, this. Hold on. When they go into the gorge or whatever, Okay, I might have gone back way too far. Okay, now we're... I'm pretty do you think she was added in
No,
an edit?
No,
She was
she was
there.
there.
She was in the original?
Mhm. I remember. Her.
Okay. Because she has an entire arc in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, the
TV show.
bald lady with one ponytail for our listeners.
Yeah, like they made her like an entire character.
Well,
based
no,
off
they
of this.
probably they it was a reverse retcon. It was like instead of adding her because there's a story arc, they added the story arc because you see her. So
No, that's what I meant. Yeah.
So this was the other side. So there's one when he said, "Hey, best Star Wars sounds." First one I thought of was klaxons. The other one was Sebulba specifically. Love
There
it.
you
I
go.
love that sound. And it really reverberates in a theater too. So hearing it in a theater was pretty.
I am disappointed in myself that I didn't go see that in the theater. I don't know what.
Oh, what was wrong?
stopping
What's wrong
me.
with you? You're a single
Because
man.
I just watched.
You can just
Because
do
I
whatever the fuck
watched
you want.
it. I watched it at my house.
Go
That's
see
why.
it in a
'Cause
theater. And you have access to way better theaters than I do.
That's true. I think I was just like I just watched it at home, like and it's not a short movie. I was.
It is not.
Like,
It
just,
is not.
like I watched it in its entirety for our podcast,
Yep.
and I didn't want to go just like immediately back to a theater. I like the movie, but I don't
Yep.
know if I like it that much after I already had seen it like however many times. Okay,
It's so good.
that's your number one,
Yeah, I mean not in particular order, but
but that's your last.
that's
one,
my
so.
that's my swan song. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that. I mean, you chose well, obviously.
Yeah, same.
Can't go
same
wrong
with
with
you.
pod racing.
Yeah, can't go. I mean,
Yeah.
again, 2/3 of mine are engine sounds, but then again,
I
guess
think
if I
2/3
open,
of all of ours were engine
yeah,
sounds.
I think so too. If I opened it to organic sounds, I just wasn't. I wasn't up for things that could be mistaken for communication, other than Watt Tambor, right? Obviously, Watt Tambor, I think, was a malfunction, right? But I just like one of my favorite organic sounds is Salacious Crumb laughing. It's like, but I don't know that it didn't have a place here. I don't think like.
Do you want to hear one? Do you want? Can I show you? Do you have time
Yeah,
for
of
some of
course.
my honorable mentions?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I gave you so many, I don't have any more, but
A few of my honorable mentions here, guys. So,
this is our dorkiest episode.
it's good. I like it. Dude, the whoa, whoa. Love that.
Oh my god, that I think a lot of people love Django's. That's
Blasters?
Yeah, that's Django Fett's blaster. Also, the little sizzle that you hear when they cut his head off. That's pretty good too.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I feel like
you know
they gave his blaster shots just a little bit of extra oomph,
Yeah, right
like,
before he dies.
This is no ordinary dude. He's got like these blasters are the shit. Pack a little extra punch.
Pack a little extra point. You know what I'm surprised he didn't pick? Is the little squeak sound that happens when Darth Vader puts his helmet on in Return of the Jedi. Or sorry, Empire Strikes Back. Just that little
That's a good one.
squeak that happens.
Yeah.
Just like a little too cute for what the scene was. Yeah.
The breathing would have been S tier. Like if someone, you could have had
Sure.
a version of this podcast where it's just Darth Vader breathing, but
Yep.
it's like, okay, cool. We all know about that.
Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here's another one that it's very nostalgic for me is this one. So it's specifically the turret.
Kind of similar to Sebulba's. It kind of does the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The little, and it's like, it feels like it's like cooling down a little bit.
Yeah.
Like after, like it reverberates after the shot. I really like the, it just sounds like, you never hear that type of laser beam or like
No.
that type of laser sound. I feel like for anything else.
Yeah.
So I do think about this scene. Like I think when I hear that, I can't really mimic it. It's such a high pitched sound, but like I always just think of them being in the cockpit.
Oh, there was another good honorable mention: the blasters on a droidica. It like kind of makes like almost
yeah.
like a balloon sounds, like.
That is a good one.
It's a good one too. There's a Lucasfilm story group, obviously, that keeps the canon continuity timeline all straight. There's got to be there's got to be a sound person that's just like, we can't make that sound like that because it sounds too much like the Millennium Falcon gun, or it can't sound like too much like X, because that's an important sound we use here, so we can't use it there.
Yeah.
Because like you said, that is a blaster sound you hear nowhere else.
Right. And I always just think about that one scene.
Yeah.
Let's see if I have one more. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
This shit, I can't believe, I think I should have kept this, Nick.
Okay.
But
I thought about this one too. That
you knew I had to have the, the boom has to be in there, right?
The one thing about the speeder bikes is it sounds like it's kicking into another gear sometimes. Like these things are going fast as fuck through a forest, and that's ill-advised.
They're about to explode, yeah.
They're about to hit
exactly.
a tree. But like it always sounds like there's another gear for them to hit. And then they hit that gear, and then
It's so stressful.
It's a good one.
It's so stressful.
Yeah.
Being on one, listening to it. Okay. Yeah, think that.
we
one more honorable mention. I mean, this is
okay. This is an S tier.
obvious.
This is S tier.
Yeah.
I left this out specifically. Play it again because I talked over it. I'm sorry.
Some good ship sound effects too. Overall, like even Jango Fett's, we don't call it that anymore. We don't use that word. We don't use that word when we refer to this ship. We call it Jango Fett's ship. Bounty Hunter.
Indentured
Class 2
Servant
ship.
1. Man,
This is when you go
was
to
a
the
great one.
theater and then you just walk and you get up and you
I
just
need to
get
know
out-
the
you get out your
timestamp of
seat
this
and-
because when the 25-year anniversary comes, I'm gonna go into the theater, listen to that sound, and walk out.
Sit down right when it happens
Yeah.
and then get right back up. Oh, that would be great. Oh, man.
Great episode.
Thank you, Attack of the Clones, for one really bad sound effect and one really, really good. Actually, from this episode, we had at least 3 Attack of the Clone sound effects.
Yeah.
One was a bad.
One was a negative, but
One was a bad, yeah. And another thing I'll point out is neither of us chose anything from. Nope, that's not true. You chose a sequel sound.
yep, I did. Just one.
Yeah, you chose a sequel sound, but it was sort of a sequel sound.
Mm-hmm.
It was just to show the most recent version.
Well, the sequel's here. Honorable mention: the lack of sound during the Holdo the Holdo maneuver. I think is a great sound design, but it's a lack of sound. So
I feel like there is good sound in the movie, but in those movies, I never thought like it was bad. But I feel like they weren't as unique and weird. But I think after we watched the Star Wars documentary Light and Magic, it's pretty obvious why.
Mm-hmm.
You had a couple guys like basically in a garage just pumping out, it's creating whatever sounds they could versus having decades of technological advancement to create your sound.
Just more. I don't know. They wanted it more back then, Chris.
That's true, Nick. All right. Anything else from you, Nick? Anything else before we sign off?
No, I think this again was we really showed ourselves in this episode. It was the dorkiest one. We tried to do a show, not tell, but honestly, how could I have described these other than this part that happens during this part of the pod racing scene, we had to just listen to them and try to imitate them.
Anyways, all right. So I'm glad that we at least recorded that.
I was gonna say we didn't do it, Chris.
Because we forgot.
Yeah,
I forgot.
I forgot.
That's
too.
on me.
We were too in. This
Yeah.
was again our dorky topic.
I know, and I like doing this dorky topic. I feel like I want to do more stuff like this because sometimes like we just need probably like an easier topic to do, so that it doesn't take a lot of preparation. Although I did spend a lot of my time to prepare, I wanted to find like good options.
I needed the time. The most time was getting the timestamps, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways,
well,
yeah.
you have your editing hands cut out for you here. Your editing work cut out for you, I'll say. But
I don't mind it though when it's a fun episode like this.
Yeah, it's a good time.
We all know that I've had harder edits.
You really have, yeah, that's true.
So, all right, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, please give us a review on iTunes or whatever, Apple Podcasts or whatever platform you use to listen to us on. That helps get the word out. And also, don't forget to go to magicmind.com/trial and with the promo code Star Wars Trial to get a free 3-pack sample of Magic Mind. I think you guys will really like it.
You need this in your life.
You do. You need it. And after you have it, you're not going to want to go back. I promise you that. But without further ado, may the Force be with you all.
Goodbye.